Wow, it's time for DrawClass. If you notice my microphone sounds different, it's cause I'm at my computer. Ain't that some cool stuff? Hi everybody. It's the Julia Desk Angle.
This cat won't stop screaming. How do we make the cat stop screaming?
How do we make the cat stop screaming at us?
Google, how to make cat stop screaming. Google, cat won't stop screaming. Help. Why is it not working?
She just truly keeps going. It's Olive. Someone asked which cat... She's honestly so cute, but she doesn't stop. She wants attention all the time from me and Jacob, and will accept no attention from anyone else.
This is the class.
This is the class. But also, it's good self-care. Take a break to pet a screaming cat.
She can sit right here and be part of it.
Part of the class.
I'm not actually part of the class. I'm going to take a shower.
Yeah.
But I hope you all learn how to care for yourselves in this class.
She's rubbing her face. She is crazy-eyed. Miss Olive. Miss Olive. What do you do? Where are you going? She's running away now.
Alright, I'll go with her and hopefully she'll follow me. Okay.
Hey everyone. Thanks for being members of the DrawClass tier. This one's sort of like a weird topic because it's more nebulous. It's not exactly a drawing skill, but it's just as important. So I got my tea because it's freaking cold right now in our apartment because our heat's still not working. I got my tea, I got my water. I think we're ready to go. Someone had submitted this DrawClass idea to the survey that I made a while ago, so thank you to whoever submitted that. I hope that you find some helpful tips in this DrawClass. I hear Jacob talking to Olive. I guess she has not stopped talking. But yeah, it's the self-care thing is just as important as anything else because I will say this from my perspective, a person who did not do any sort of artist self-care, it has ruined me. It has ruined my body. And it doesn't have to ruin yours forever. I think when you're younger, you think like it's never going to affect you ever again, and then oh boy, it sure does. So you should try and stay ahead of it as much as you can. I'm going to talk about a few different things like stretches you can do, exercises that you can do to prevent injuries. But then I'm also going to talk about like the sort of like nebulous brain self-care things that happen. And I think like one of those topics, and I'll get into it later, is like this feeling that if you're not working towards your art at all times, then you are falling behind or you are failing or you're not going to get the job as, someone else might who like works harder. But I think like, I'm using the Jacob horse, by the way, as a back pillow still. I think that there's a way that you can work smarter and not harder and still get the same results. I was not a very like I kind of just thought like a big like turnout of work meant I was doing good work, but you can do less work and it still be effective. It's like choosing the pieces that will actually get you somewhere, or you know, whatever your goal is. There is a more effective way than feeling like you have to work all the time, you know. Using Jacob horse as a back pillow is item number 1 on the self-care checklist. Listen, I have used the Jacob horse as a back pillow for the past, I don't know, month since I've been getting lower back pain. I've also used it to brace my elbow, because the way, if the cats get in my lap, I have to lower my seat so that the cats can fit under the desk so I can be up on my desk. But then my arm, I'm like using my mouse like this. I'm like typing like this. So I use the Jacob horse pillow to kind of like keep my wrist straight and prevent strain. And it's been great. It was like the perfect spacing. But anyway, let's get into the thing. I want to say out the gate, I've been wildly busy, and so I apologize. So I'm a little all over the place today. I got home like an hour ago from a bunch of things I've had to do, and it's just been, again, just nonstop running around. Usually I make draw classes in Photoshop. This one I made in Google Slides, and I used one of their templates, and I've decided to not replace the images that are in this template. So you're going to see a lot of people that have no connection or correlation to the actual self-care guide. So enjoy. There's also going to be a lot of leftover words. Like, you might be able to see it. You won't be able to see it when I change views in a second. Oh, you know what? Actually, you will. Let's do this. Example.com. I'm going to move myself down here. Example.com. Don't go there. I don't know what it is. It's just example.com. That's what Google gave me. So, you know, I thought it was funny. And again, this is a self-care class, so it's gonna be fun. Let's get into it. So, self-care for artists. What we're gonna go over. Oh no. Here we go. I'm over here now. So I want to go over, I think like the thing that everyone really wants to like ask, or most people want to ask, is about like, how do you treat muscle/joint pain? I forgot to write down, but like, I have some, you know, recommendations on sort of like braces and things, because I've been through it. I've been through them. I have one of them with me. I'll show you in a second, but let me go through the rest of this. Wow, muscle/joint pain. I got 3 words in. I've already spelled something bad or wrong. It's joint pain. I also want to talk about eye strain, because there's ways that you can prevent eye strain. There's ways that, you know, you can treat eye strain when you have it. It's best to try and like, my approach to everything, and I'll get into this in a moment, is to try and prevent any of these things from happening. But then, you know, obviously it's going to happen sometimes when you're pushing yourself. So I have some ways that you can treat it if it does happen. Drinking water. I think we can all agree that the really important part of this is the lorem ipsum. So we can, you know, it's gonna be great. But drinking water is wildly important. So, and I don't know, I tweeted about it once, and people like really had some things to say about it. So I think like, and I know that some people like struggle with it, with just like remembering to do so for whatever reason. So, you know, I've put some tips in there as someone who's really bad at reminding myself to eat and drink. my solution to that problem was that I married someone who remembers to feed me. So he cooks for me. It's great. No. Anyway, there's healthy work patterns. So again, a more nebulous topic, but oh man, lorem ipsum. Why don't you lorem sip some water? That's so freaking good. That's fantastic. I agree though. Lorem ipsum, sip some water. Lorem sip some water. Anyway, healthy work patterns. That's a more nebulous thing. That's like, you know, a lot of setting boundaries for yourself, setting boundaries with other people, which can get complicated, especially if you're someone who's conflict averse like me. Unless I get really irritated, then I just start being a little sassy, or just like hitting you with the okay button. Okay. Anyway, so we talk about, you know, how that works. We also talk about healthy work boundaries. I've had really bad work boundaries, and I've been through it enough where the burnout was so bad from not having good enough work boundaries that I have gone to the other end, and I've like overcorrected. But you know, you can meet somewhere in the middle. We'll get into it. How to not get in your head about stuff. Whenever I have like a open questions thing, like send me your questions, people are like, I'm really scared about this, I'm really scared about that, I don't know if I can do art, yada yada. So we'll talk about like how not to get in your head if art is something you want to pursue full time. And then I'm going to have a let's chat about stuff, which is like tackling maybe some subjects that I didn't tackle during the presentation. So it'll be open for everyone to ask me questions at the end, and you know, maybe we can talk it out. Whatever it is that's on your mind about art or self-care or whatever. And I'll do my darndest. So muscle pain. I didn't even change these. Muscle pain. Let's prevent muscle pain because it lingers and it sucks for everyone and everything. It just makes everything harder, right? I pushed through muscle pain so much. One, because I already have a lot of, I don't know, complicated history with feeling like I'm not good enough at all times. So I've always like pushed through pain to say like, well, it'll be worth it. And I did that so much that now it is hard for me to work for a long period of time. Or I should say, as long as I used to, right? I noticed that by the weekend, if I'm drawing assets all week or I'm rendering, my hand and wrist really hurt after those 5 days. And that's not the way that it used to go. I used to be able to just like push myself for like a month, and then all of a sudden my hand would just like, you know, go kaput. So we want to prevent muscle pain as much as possible. And you can do that by strengthening your joints, strengthening the muscles around your joints, strengthening, you know, everything that makes that work. You can also do it by drinking water. That's vital. Your body, again, I have a whole water section, but your body is literally made of water. You need to refill that water or else your body can't work, right? It's like trying to use a dried out rubber band. It's just gonna snap. You gotta keep that water going. I wanted to show you guys, so a few problems that I have now with the, honestly, the filler pics help to bring a levity to a serious topic. That's true, yeah. And it only gets heavier as we go. No, I'm kidding. It is fun though. So, a few pains that I have. One of them is that because I'm like gripping the pen all the time, And if I'm working like really fast, I'm like pushing really hard. And then what that does, if I'm pushing really hard on my thumb, it will strain this muscle. So you'll get this like pain in the tender part of your thumb. I just realized I have a college humor pen. This pen's like 15 years old at this point. A pencil. So this part of my thumb gets really sore. The other part of my thumb that gets sore is this outside part from pushing. Because sometimes I'll like start to compensate for this pain by like switching how I'm using my thumb, and then it'll cause this whole section to feel really jammed. And I actually went to the doctor for this one because I usually don't. And he prescribed this little contraption. It's basically, he didn't prescribe this exact one. I got this one offline somewhere. It was pretty cheap from what I remember. I got it like a while ago, so I don't really remember exactly. But, ta-da! So, it's just a little thing you can slip your thumb into. You tighten this little band around here. And it has these like metal brackets right in the thumb. And then you wrap this around. You've seen me wear this on like streams and things. It's because my thumb gets all flared up. And basically it makes it harder to bring my thumb in. So it's forcing my thumb to rest. So what I do is I try not to sleep with it on because it's not good for your skin to like sleep with this stuff on. Also, it'll wake me up because I get like annoyed with it, and in the middle of the night I'll just be like ripping it off and throwing it across my bedroom. But like if I am not working, I'll put it on. Like if I'm going to go for a car ride and my thumb is hurting, I'll put this on. Like if we're going out somewhere, I'll just put it on for the car ride. Or if we're going to someone's house and they don't really mind that I'm wearing a brace. And I say that it's because, you know, some people ask you a million questions and then you're just like not in the mood to answer those questions. Only have friends that are chill with you wearing a brace because it doesn't freaking matter. But I'll like use this on my downtime or on the weekends, you know, because then everything else you can kind of like skirt around your thumb. So yeah, it's just a good way to force your thumb to rest. It actually feels really nice right now. It also keeps your wrist still because those muscles go, you know, down through your wrist. So you want to keep your wrist stabilized. So yeah, it's just nice. It's very gentle. Like I said, it's pretty cheap. I can even look up like a thumb brace. $10. This brace that I have, $10. You don't need fancy doctor hospital stuff because they'll charge you like 10 times in America. You can get it offline. It can be at your door in 2 days. $10. Another thing that I wear, how long can you wear it for? You wear it however long you're comfortable with. I would recommend not going over like 12 hours because you want your skin to breathe and you don't want like the moisture will get trapped because it's very like soft material. And so you don't want to like cause any bacteria or anything. You always want your skin to be able to breathe after a while. So I usually just wear it during the day for a couple of hours and I'll take it off. Usually I wind up like, if I'm eating dinner, I get annoyed with this on because, you know, I've got to use my fork and stuff, or like chopsticks, which are always really hard when you have a thumb injury. But I'll have it on. I'll go to eat dinner. I'll take it off for dinner. I'll leave it off for like half an hour. I'll put it back on, leave it on for a couple hours. You know, it's fine. Try not to sleep with it on. You can. But I should say, too, out the gate, I'm not a doctor. I am not a doctor. I am an artist idiot. So if you have really bad thumb pain, go to a doctor. If you have any pain at all in your muscles that are bad, go to a doctor. Everything that I'm going to tell you is just for like medium to light pain. And if you can't go to a doctor immediately or quickly, you can fill in the gaps with some of these, with some caveats, okay? Another thing I did for my thumb pain, my special pen. So this special pen is actually just the Cintiq pen that I have for my Cintiq, go figure. And it's just this little doohickey. Again, I got this online. I think it's like ergonomic Cintiq pen, whatever. Yeah. It's the Plus Ergo Grip. By the way, if I ever mention a product, it's not a specific endorsement of that product. It's just so that you know what I am using. I have not tested every product of these things. I'm just bringing it up as an example, and then when you look it up, maybe it'll launch you into another version of it that might work better for you. This one's been working for me. It's squishy. It's silicone. It's very squishy. This part is meant to be squished. It kind of feels like a mouth guard. If you've ever used a mouth guard, because I have, because I grind my teeth at night when I'm stressed, and then I get a really bad headache. And one time I had such bad teeth grinding because I was so stressed out a couple of months ago that, or like about a year ago, that Jacob and I went to the urgent care because my head felt awful. The guy was like, "Oh, you're grinding your teeth so bad that the pain is coming from your teeth radiating into your eye, which is then radiating into your brain. So get a mouth guard if you grind your teeth." It didn't solve my problem because my problem was that I was stressed, but it did prevent injury. Anyway, this thing. Basically what you do when you get your Cintiq pen is it has like that little grippy part. And so you just, you unscrew this bit. I'll show you. I don't have the little grippy bit anymore. I would grab Jacob's, but I don't want to go over there. Anyway, there's like this little end part right here. You can basically unscrew that. And then you just take this, slip this on. You put the little, slip that in my hand. Screw that bit on, that's it. It basically just like makes it so that you're pressing on something that's taking the pressure a little bit better so that you're not straining this part as much. So I think it's been working for me. Some people say it works for them, some people don't. Or some people say that it doesn't. For me, it's been working. It hasn't been hurting, certainly. So I keep using it. Easy peasy. Another thing is if you have sweaty hands or sticky hands. Oh, what is it called again? This was called the Ergo Grip. Hold on, I still have it up. Now it just says for Wacom Pro and Grip Pen Stylus. But, oh, it's the Plus Ergo Grip. Again, not endorsing any specific product. I'm not sponsored. This is just what I use. It's just an example. You can either go with this if you want, or you can go with something like it. But this is what I've been using. The other thing that I use when I draw, because I just want my hand to be able to glide, which sometimes depending on conditions, because New York gets humid. Sometimes my hand sticks, and I just don't want to be fighting, throwing my hand and like trying to do a loop like 6 million times. So I have this. You've seen Jacob and I wear it on streams. It's a little glove, little tablet glove. It has 2 fingers on the bottom, or, you know, for the pinky and your ring finger. And so it doesn't get in the way of you holding your pen, but it's just so that it's like, it can glide. I cannot recommend drawing gloves enough if you draw on a tablet. Like, I'm gonna look up like what I have. Actually, this one's so old that there's like no more company watermark on it, so I don't know what it is. Huion uses or makes one. Again, it's $10 to get one. It's more pleasant. Everyone's talking about how much they love drawing gloves. Big recommend. So we've had to buy like a bunch of them because we just keep losing them. So we bought some backups. I had a particular, I can't find it, or I forgot to grab it. Both of those things are true. I don't know where it is, and I forgot about it until just now. Wrist braces. It's basically like the thumb brace in that it keeps your wrist still. It's just longer, and the metal parts go longer. It's just to like force you to keep your wrist at like a neutral state, so it can, like if you have tendonitis, which tendonitis is if you overuse a muscle and it gets swollen, that's what tendonitis is. And then you either feel that like pulsing, or you just like, you have that weird sensation of like, I can feel a muscle there without touching it. That's usually tendonitis. Again, not a doctor, not a diagnosis, just my experience. So you want to like keep it neutral so that the swelling can go down and the blood can move freely through it. And so that you don't use it, because if you have a brace, you're going to notice how many things it's getting in the way of, right? So it's just to keep your wrist neutral. It's great. That one I used a lot in college, because I had really bad, you can actually hear my wrist if I got closer to the mic, and also I don't want to do that to people because it exposed some people out. My wrist crackles constantly, all the time. So it's just, I have constant wrist problems. I get wrist pain that shoots through, and it feels like lightning, shoots through here, and then it hits my elbow. And then again, like I said, I have the thumb problem on both sides. So the wrist brace is great. Again, there's ways to prevent these things, and we're going to get into them now. Other than like taking breaks, right? So let's talk about some exercises you can do. And they're really easy exercises. Let's get back to, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I think we're okay. Let's get back to the presentation. Here we go. I'm just going to put myself there. Nope, not that one. This one. Me. This lady's very pretty. This person's very pretty. Thank you, Google Slides, for just putting this very aesthetically pleasing person. Here's a disclaimer before we get into the workout stretches portion of the presentation. As always, talk to a doctor about any pain. Don't try to ignore it, else you wind up with me, like me, which quite often when I'm feeling very sad, I feel like I'm a little broken machine. I feel like a little broken porcelain doll that's being held together by tape and glue. So you do not want to get there, because it makes the rest of your art career, first of all, it makes your life more complicated, and it doesn't have to be that way. It makes your art career that much more complicated, and it doesn't have to be that way. You should try to prevent pain by doing some things, okay? First of all, number one, I'm being haunted. I don't know if you can hear my cat just like going off back there, but she's zooming. Olive! She's right here. Miss Olive! You zooming? She's zooming. She said yeah. Hi! Come here, can we show the people your face? Let's take a break and show the... Come here. Come here. Come here. Okay. She wants to zoom. She does not want to get picked up. Oh, which actually reminded me, thank you, Olive, another piece of equipment that I wanted to talk about was that I got myself a good chair. This chair is very expensive. It was an investment I made for myself because I'm basically always on my computer. Because if I'm not working, I am gaming at my computer. So, other than the times that I go out, which is not very often, especially not lately because of, you know, baby, but invest in a legitimately good chair. You don't have to buy this very expensive one. This is like the Herman Miller yada yada yada. She's here! Okay. You want to scream and run. Sorry. There she goes. Her tail's up. Her tail's up. I am forgiven. Where'd she go? Always invest in a really good chair. You don't have to get this one. But more and more companies are coming out with legitimately good office chairs. Don't go for like a gamer chair if you can. Gamer chairs, they're like good, but they don't have like the back support you need at all times. There's plenty of reviews out there for cheaper, really good office chairs that will prevent back injury and lower back pain and prevent you from hunching, and then which like sets off a whole series of events. The other piece of equipment is that I got a footrest under my desk. I would show it to you, but I'm pretty sure it's like covered in cat dust, and I don't need to be shamed like this. Actually, it's alright. It's what lives under my desk. It just keeps me comfy. Just like try to, it encourages me to sit more, sit better, sit more proper to prevent like, you know, my muscles from getting out of whack. Cause also like all good mid-2000ers, I had a messenger bag and then my whole body was like this after a while because you have all your weight on one side. So it makes your muscles on one side stronger and weaker on the other. So I got, I'm trying to like prevent the injury. Yes. So try your best to sit up straight. I say that as someone who sits cross-legged in my chair constantly. And I tend to put, one foot up and under myself. And I'm trying to like undo that because it hurts my knees. Or I feel it after a while. So get yourself a little footrest. It's really comfy. I can tell you that. Let's get back to the presentation. So, hello again, Miss Olive. Preventing muscle pain. I'm going on a trip again. Here we go. As with most things, you should approach these problems before they happen. And then, if they do happen, when it happens, okay? Don't ignore it. Like I did, it makes you busted. My cat's back. So, can I help you, ma'am? Yeah? Is that okay? Can I continue with my class? The best way to treat a problem is to prevent it. To make sure it never happens. Basically it's like when you own a car, if your tire goes flying off and you could have prevented it by like putting that extra bolt on, you should have done that, because now you got the bill for a whole new tire and whatever the hell happened to your car because your tire flew off. Instead of like the $15 it took you to fix the original issue, right? Busted makes me feel bad. Yeah, exactly. So pushing through a problem will make it worse, and it will make things more difficult. Here's the Venn diagram that Google Sheets put into my presentation, and then I didn't know what to replace it with, so I just filled in some words. The middle should probably be something like good muscle self-care. Let's keep in mind, the muscles are interconnected, much like these people giving their presentations, right? They're all informing each other, they're all working together. So, by strengthening one muscle, it will assist another muscle. Remember when I said, like, that this muscle on my thumb gets sore, so I start compensating with this one, and then I mess them both up? Yeah, because they're interconnected. You always have, like, a muscle that pushes and a muscle that pulls, but then since we move in so many different ways, it's like you have to have muscles everywhere to kind of pull it all over the place. So, if you strengthen your muscles, you help them support your joints, right? And remember, your muscles need water, because like a rubber band, if you have a dried out rubber band, it's just going to snap. So, you know, I'm pulling up some notes for the next section for myself. So let's remember to stay hydrated. I got my tea, I got my water, it's great. So, I'm going to go through some workouts. They're very easy, they're very gentle. We are not here to get swole, we are here to strengthen the joints so that we can prevent joint pain and joint injury, right? So, because we are trying to prevent pain, if we are doing this workout, and it is painful, stop doing it. What's the point? What's the point in doing a thing that hurts you that's meant to prevent being hurt, right? For a while, I misunderstood what people meant when they said you should be doing a workout move to failure. I thought it was like to where it hurts. No, it's like literally you are doing some presses and your body's just like, that's it. That's all I can do. We've been doing this motion like entirely too much. And I don't have the juice to go up, right? If a move hurts you, try doing it without weights. There's a move there's a lot of workout moves that are hard for me because I have bad elbows, bad wrists, bad thumb, bad knees. One of my ankles is really messed up from soccer. You know, there's just a lot of moves that I can't do push-ups because I can't put my hand down and then put my body weight on my hand. It hurts this part of my arm too much. So there's always a way to adjust the move so that it doesn't hurt. So instead of doing full push-ups, I do box push-ups, which is like you have a box And so you have your feet on the floor and you have a box and you like do a push-up from there. There's also like, you can start up really high, like this bookshelf, you know, you can put your hands like on that middle shelf and kind of like ease your way into it. And the more you do that, you will get stronger from that move. And then you can go down to maybe that lower shelf. Then maybe you can go down to a box, and then maybe you can go down to the floor. You just have to keep with it. And there's no shame at all for working where you are currently. Because what the hell else are you going to do? You're just going to not do the move at all and give up and like not get stronger? No. The point is that you want to get stronger because you are starting at a different place than everyone else, or, you know, another person. Doesn't mean you're worse or whatever. It's not pathetic. Like, Jacob works out a lot and he can do a lot more than I can. His starting baseline is much more difficult than what I can do. But for me, a move that is like an adjusted one is just as difficult for me as his move is for him. It just looks different and the starting point is different. So you should always work at where you're at and then keep doing it. Because again, if you don't, and you just push through and go, well, this is pathetic, I'm going to do a more difficult move, then you're going to hurt yourself and then you can't do the move at all. And then you're just going to remain exactly where you started. Whereas if you admit it, I have a whole section about being honest to yourself. You should just start where you need to start and go from there. I can't say that enough. I think there's like too much stigma on, you know, starting at like someone else's level. And it just doesn't make sense to me. I think you should start where you need to start, right? So, let me move myself again. Me. Wrist stuff. Okay? We're going to start at the wrist. Here are some gentle workouts that are meant to prevent wrist injury, and we're going to prevent wrist injury by making things stronger, right? Wrist curls. This is going to be hard for me to demonstrate a little bit because it requires a very specific angle, but I'll back up my chair and hopefully you guys can hear me. Start at a low weight. Even if, so there's a move that I did, excuse me. There's a move that I used to have to do with shoes. I used to grab my shoes and I would just use that because that's literally, my weights were too heavy for me to do the move because it would hurt one of my joints. So I started with my shoes just to get used to the motion and work into that. Because using no weights does work the muscle and makes it stronger. And then you add the weights to make it a more challenging move. So start where you need to start. Wrist curls, which is our first move on this list. I use, my cat's running around again, 3 pounds. Just 3 pounds. You can go lighter. Again, you can use a shoe. Also, I apologize ahead of time. There's some moves I won't be able to do later on because I got the belly. I got the baby belly. And if I bend over, he kicks me in the guts. So I can't do those moves. Wrist curls. Okay? What are you going to want to do? Whee! So you want to have your elbow flat, have this be perpendicular to the floor, right? You just have a loose grip, loose but firm, so it's not going to slip out and like fall on your cat. You hold your weight like this, lift it up so that it is straight to your wrist, right? So that it's neutral. You do this a few times. Try to pause when you get up down, up, down, up, down. And you'll feel this part work. You'll feel this part work. Just do this 5 times. Try to go slow. When you do something fast, you're like, it's not as effective as going slowly because you're having that controlled movement, right? And again, the grip you want to have, fingers here, thumb on the outside, like you're going to punch someone, right? Like this. So, nice firm grip, loose, you're not squeezing, don't squeeze it. Don't squeeze it, that's gonna hurt your elbow. Just this, okay? What if doing that with my TV remote already started hurting? Just practice this motion. No weight, nothing in your hand. Start loose. Start with your fingers loose. Just do this. Do that a few times, okay? Start it 5 times. Go nice and slow. Someone's using a 20-ounce can of seltzer. Exactly. Use whatever you got, okay? Use a mug. Wherever you're at, start there, okay? If this is too easy for you, grab something very light. I'm gonna use someone made me a little Felix. Look at this, so cute. I don't know who gave it to me or when, but it lives on my desk. I look at him every day. If the dangling hand is too easy, but a weight is too hard, fist, okay? Because you'll have some tightness here, okay? Just practice the move. Do it every day. Have a rest day. But, you know, eventually you will feel yourself get stronger, okay? So the other wrist curl that you do to work out your wrist. Whoop. You start off neutral, okay? And again, use whatever weight works for you. Can of seltzer, nothing. Wherever you're at, I'm glad you're starting. Up. Okay? This should be in both hands. Well, yeah, for evenness. Why not? Let's do both. I'm just not showing both, but you know, it's because of the camera angles and stuff. I usually do both just to keep them equal. So you start off, again, keep your arm flat. You can also, the way that my doctor had actually taught me to do it is that you put like your whole arm on the table and you just, so that like the edge of the table like ends here. And then you go like this so that you're not, you know, straining your arms. You're supposed to do every other day. That's true. Yeah. She's like legitimately just running. Anyway. Oh yeah, don't crank your arm. That was for an example. Like put your arm down on the desk, dangle it off the side, and then, you know, raise your wrist and stuff. So yeah, do the tilt ups. Same deal as the tilt downs. You start neutral. Just do this 5 times. Rest. Maybe do another set of 5. Rest for a minute. You know, your rest should be like 30 to 60 seconds long or something. Go to the other side. Do the same thing. Get done. Squeeze ball. Squeeze ball. I don't have a ball. I don't recommend something softer than a tennis ball. It's usually like a handball or something a little more squishy. Put the ball in your hand, tighten. You just squeeze it. Just squeeze it. It'll work out. You'll feel the tightness here, and it'll work out, you know, all of the muscles in your hand. There's the squeeze and release, which is literally what I was just doing, where you have your hand out squeeze. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Open. Squeeze. Open. Squeeze. Open. A squeeze. And then you feel it. Do 3 sets of 5 with, again, a 30 to 60 second break in between. That's your workout. Another thing you should do is finger taps. I used to do this a lot as a kid, just absentmindedly. But you basically just tap your fingers to your thumb. You go back and forth. Right? And you think this is not doing anything, but it is. Do it on the other hand. I'm not as good on this hand. But if you're having like tendonitis, you will feel this like hell. I don't recommend doing this while you have tendonitis. What I recommend you do when you have tendonitis is to rest and to do stretches and drink a lot of water. Oh, that's another thing. Icy hots. I use Icy Hot. For tendonitis, I find that it helps. It helps when I'm not doing work. It helps with neck pain too. So I don't know. Again, not an endorsement of a product, just something I do. Does anyone have any questions about those? Are we good? Because then I will move on to stretches. I will move on to some wrist stretches. Okay, I'm going to move on to some wrist stretches. Boop. I duplicated the slide and then I didn't bring the guide with me. So you just have a burnt okra square. So we're going to start with the wrist flexion. As I've written, straighten your arm, show your nails to a peasant, push on the outside of your palm with your other hand, hold for 10 seconds, switch. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Push. Oh yeah. For this move, try to keep your wrist on the same plane as your shoulder. Right? Okay? Remember what I said about showing your nails to a peasant? There you go. So pull it towards yourself. Okay? You're going to feel this. I feel it. I feel it and I haven't done any drawing today or yesterday. Yeah. Okay? Hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let go. Okay? Switch to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did a thing you're not supposed to, which is like creep your shoulder up to your face. Try to keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then, do that like 2 more times on either side. It's great. Wrist extension. Straighten your hand out. Straighten your arm. Put your hand up like you're trying to tell a bus to stop. Use this hand to pull it towards you. And then hold for 10 seconds. Okay? Again, telling a bus to stop. Take your other hand. Pull this as much as you can toward it. Doesn't need to look like mine. If you have tighter muscles, you might not be able to pull it this far. Okay? It's not a judgment. It's just being honest with yourself. You don't want to hurt yourself by lying to yourself. Okay, so straight out. Don't scrunch this shoulder. Keep your wrist level with your shoulder. So pull it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The other way that you should do it is upside down. And you'll feel this. I'm feeling it right now. And I'm not even pulling. You do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shake it off because you're going to feel it. And my arm is My webcam can't keep up with the frames of my hand. Do it on the other side. Do this 2 more times on the other side. Okay? Those are my... I have a fist rotation. This one I do feel. It seems really silly. Bring your hand up, right? So it's like neutral. You just rotate towards you. Rotate away. Okay? Your fist does not have to be tight. You're not squeezing anything. Just have your hand in a fist. Rotate. Slowly rotate the other way. Oh, try to keep your hand straight. Just keep rotating. And you'll feel that. You really will. Okay? Especially when you've been drawing for a while, this whole section is going to feel like it's on fire. So, that's what I recommend. Does anyone have any questions about the wrist stuff? Once again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a specialist. I'm someone who's just gotten injured a lot and is speaking from what I've learned. Okay? Yeah, someone's saying that the wrist rotations are good. So, yeah. And that they feel it? Yeah, truly. Like, I'm feeling it right here. Okay. Let's talk about shoulder stuff. You're like, Julia, what does the shoulder have to do with drawing? Everything. Everything. Your arm muscles are all connected. Oh, what do you do with your thumb? For thumb pain? For thumb pain, I usually just try to pull it a little bit. I just pull it until I try to pull it until right before it starts hurting. Don't pull it to where it hurts. And then just massage this part. For the wrist flexion, I kind of just usually have it out. I think some people tuck it in, right? So they'll put their thumb on this side. I usually just, I think you're supposed to like put it like that, but you can have it on the inside. It's whatever you're most comfortable with, I think. So, when you're drawing, especially like on a Cintiq or something that's bigger, you are using your whole arm. You're doing this, okay? If you make this stronger and you make this stronger, it will support everything in here, okay? It's really important to build up at least a little bit of shoulder mobility and shoulder muscles, and same with the elbow, okay? So again, I'm going to show you some easy shoulder exercises that should not hurt you. If they do hurt you, do not use weights. Just do the motions, okay? With nothing in your hands. If that hurts, don't do the move. It's not worth it. Pain is not the game here. Soreness, sure. Okay? You can be sore, but don't be in pain. Shoulder press. Okay? Let's talk about shoulder press. I'm going to use these 3-pound weights because they're the only ones I brought in. And also, yeah, whatever. So, you're going to apparently enter heaven because I've been washed out. Okay? Start here so that your weights are just above your shoulders. And you're going to want, also keep your elbows in line with like your back, okay? Try to keep everything in line with your shoulders, okay? So, you just press up. Keep your weights above your shoulder. Okay? Nice and slow. You can start with 10, okay? Again, if this motion hurts as you are holding weights, don't use weights in the beginning. Just practice this motion. Again, when you are up, try to keep it in line with your shoulders. Okay? Right? So I'll show you from the side. Okay? Don't hyperextend your back. Don't do this. Don't go all the way back, because that's gonna freaking destroy your traps in your shoulders. Just, okay? And try to pause, okay? Don't have your elbows all the way into your ribs. Try to keep them out a little bit, okay? And you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel that right here. So that's a good way to prevent your shoulder injuries, because some people tense or, you know, they start doing this. That's why they start doing this. So really recommend that move. This one is a front raise. You should do this while you're standing. I'm not going to do it while I'm standing, because I'll be like in the hallway yelling at my microphone. But when you're standing, I'll just show you the beginning. Like this, right? You want to start with your weights kind of in front of your thighs, like this. I just cracked both of my knees. Then you raise up to your shoulders and then back down. Up to your shoulders, back down. The important part about that is don't go higher than your shoulders, okay? You want to start by going to the line of your shoulders. See that? So you want to go straight out. Just, okay? Do those 5 to 10 times. Then there's the sideways version, where you start with your weights against your body. You go out like this. Again, do not raise higher than your shoulders. I'm hitting Jacob's chair. Just do this, okay? Don't scrunch your shoulders with any of these moves. You don't want to be doing this. Keep your shoulders low. Okay? Try to keep your wrists straight. You want to keep your wrists as neutral as possible with all of these moves, okay? Because you don't want to injure your wrists. I have a text message. It might be from someone important, so I'm just making sure. I don't know who this is. Those are like the 3 main moves for shoulders that I recommend. I'm pretty sure I have some shoulder stretches. Okay? Sorry, not your phone, my phone. My phone was vibrating. Here are some shoulder stretches. Of course, there's always the shoulder roll. Okay? You want to just roll your shoulders back, roll your shoulders forward. A few times, try to go slow. You know, there's always like the little shakeout. Arm twists. I recommend these. They feel great. My cat's here because I've been moving around. I am going to stand up, but basically you put your arms out like an airplane, one palm up, one palm down, and then you switch and you lean towards that side. Okay? What is your deal? I'll stand up and I'll show you, but I wanted to say that before I get very far from my mic. What? Okay? Feel like this. Okay? Flip it up, flip it down, reach, reach, reach. Don't move your hips. Okay? Reach, 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 reach. Hey, Olive, what's your deal? What? Yeah? Reach for a cat. Okay? Arm circles. We all know what an arm circle is. Okay? It's just, and be gentle with it, because you can hurt your shoulders, but, you know, just like, it's good for your back, it's good for your traps, it's good for your shoulders. Just rotate. You want to do it for a couple of seconds. Rotate back. You'll feel it. Okay? Do that a few times. What is your deal, Miss Olive? She wants to be involved. Yeah. It's because we've been out a lot recently, so. So the next move is called a half bow, I believe. But basically, you have your arms up like this, and you go down. So that they are, again, level with like your shoulder and collarbone. Up, down, up, and down. Do this a few times. Don't scrunch your shoulders. Try to keep your shoulders loose. Have your elbows be level with your shoulders, so you're making a straight line. Down, up, down, okay? Again, don't raise your shoulders, don't scrunch them, okay? Then there's a full bow, where you start like this. It's like a more challenging half bow. You go like this, and then you go down. Up, down, up, down. And this, it's like a stretch, but you're gonna feel sore because it's also kind of a workout. So be gentle with yourself, but recommend doing those a few times. Like I said, you'll feel it. Tricep stuff. Tricep is the muscle that's like right back here. Okay? Right on the back. This supports your elbow. It's basically joining your shoulder and your elbow. It's all good to work out. I'm not going to show you this move. I am pregnante, so I will not be doing this. Basically what you do is you lay on your back with your feet bent. So you're making a little tent. So it's like, here's your foot, here's your legs, here's your body, right? Then, let's pretend I'm lying on the floor. You hold your weight like this. You can get two weights. You can get one in each hand, and you press them together. If it's too hard, you move your weight sideways, grab each end. So if I'm laying down, like the floor is here, you are then going to go like this, and then over your head. This, so that you're like touching the floor over the head. Keep your arms straight. Important to note, have a nice grip on your weight so that you don't drop it on your face. But don't have such a strong grip that you're going to exhaust your hands and wrist, okay? So nice and firm. I keep my thumbs on the inside. It's basically like I'm holding a PlayStation controller, or a controller in general, okay? So again, you lay down on your that sounds like a warning from experience. No, it's just every time I do it, I'm like, oh, it would be bad if I dropped a weight on my face. Again, lay down on the floor. Bring your feet close to your butt. So now your legs are bent, your back is flat on the ground. Important to note too, try to keep your lower back pressed against the floor at all times. You don't want that stuff rising up. You're gonna hyperextend your lower back, and then you're gonna have a lower back pain, and it's not worth it. So then you put your hands over your head, go back, try and touch the floor when you do this. If you can't, that's fine. Just get as close as you can to it. Bring it back up. So to the floor and up. Okay? The other move is a overhead extension. You've probably seen this. This hurts my elbows, so 3-pound weight is perfect for me. And I'm going to use one of them. You can use two. But basically, it's hard to do when you sit, but grab the weight like this. You're going to grab one end. You're going to bring it behind your head, right? So that you're like You look really cool. But you're holding a weight. And then you go straight up. Okay? Down. Straight up. Down. Straight up. You can, if you're feeling pain in your elbows, you can make it go wide. Okay? That gives you a little bit more space and doesn't hurt. Me, anyway. I don't know about you. I don't know what your problem is. But you can modify it. Again, you can use 2. Okay, it's the same thing. You can just press those 2 together. Okay? You're going to feel that in your elbow and your triceps. Okay? Really good move to do. Boop. Those are my tricep moves. There's 2 of them. You can modify them. You can have a heavier weight if you want for the triceps, you know? Oh yeah, the move that I used to do that was really hard for me was that, you know, that, like this move I was showing you and this move, there's one that's in the middle. I like struggled on that. I had to use my shoes for a while. Anyway. Really great slide. Didn't want to delete, didn't want to amend. Didn't know what to do with. I kept it in. Please enjoy this break from the Google slides. Really wise words. Lorem ipsum dollar sit amen. Okay? Just like let that guide your day. Okay? Just like really reflect on that today. Here are just some like generally good stretches to do after sitting for a while. Okay? Company name. Gentle head rolling. Okay? That's, guess what? It's somewhere you just drop your head and you roll. Oh, I just cracked my neck. Oh. Okay? Just go slowly. Just let your head dangle. Let it roll. And then go the other way. Okay? It's really good to do when you are sitting at your desk for a while and your head's like, especially if you're like tensing up because you're working, really good because it stretches like your traps and your neck muscles. And the most common headache I get is my neck is too tense. Olive won't stop screaming at me.
Is that why you're so tense?
Yeah, that's why I'm so tense.
Because of the screams?
Yeah.
She looks like she's just chilling. She's completely innocent.
She's thinking about coming over. Anyway, the most common headache I get is that the muscles in my neck get really tight or swollen, and it presses on the blood vessels back there, which makes my head just throb. And I usually get that when I sleep bad. By the way, I want everyone to see Olive's I'm totally innocent face. She hasn't been doing anything. I'm looking at you. Criminal, criminal, criminal. Criminal. Anyway, so doing that move alleviates some of that pressure, okay? One arm hug. That's where you take one arm, drape it across, pull it. You're pulling your elbow towards your other shoulder, okay? And you want it bent. Well, I think you can do bent or straight. But yeah, just keep it nice. Just to stretch your shoulder, okay? And it stretches your back. And then when you come back, try and like squeeze your shoulder blades together. Okay. Then do the other side. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Just hold it. Oh. Okay. And then just do it a few times. You don't gotta do it for a long time, just enough so that you're like making your body move, right? And so it's not so stiff. Oh. Okay. There's what I like to call the big old cat stretch, which is that you take your hands, you interlock them, you go up, and you stretch up. This move's really hard for me to do right now because of the belly, but you should feel it like in your lower back, right? So, that one always feels great. Just like press up like that. That's it. You know, try to push your hands to like the ceiling and like try and push your spine out towards your belly. So you're just getting that big old stretch. Hold it for a couple of seconds. You know, repeat it as many times as you feel like you need. Some leg stretches. Okay. And these you can do from your seat. All of them. I tried to choose ones that are like, you can do this at your desk. Okay. This one I can't do right now. I'll try my best to show you. But basically, you put your legs out straight. You hold on to your seat and you just bend forward towards it. I have my feet a little wider. Just bend towards your straightened legs. Keep your legs straight. Bend towards it. And you'll start to feel that in your thighs and behind your knees. Okay? There's the leg stretch challenge mode, where you bend one of the legs under your chair and then you stretch. Come back up. Bend from your hips. Stretch. There's also a hip stretch you can do from sitting. Okay? Sit properly. Back straight, both feet on the floor. If you can, take one of your ankles, put it on top of your knee, put your hand on your knee that's raised, and just lean forward from your hips, keeping your back straight, okay? Oh, that feels really nice. Come back up, let it go. Do the other side. Oh, my knee just popped. Okay? And you want to keep the hand here because you will push down on your knee a little bit, which will push your hip a little bit. Again, none of these moves should hurt. Do not let it hurt you. If it is hurting you, you are going too far. Okay? Seated spine rotation. Okay? Sit properly. Feet on the floor. Back straight. You're just gonna rotate. Usually I put my hand on my knee and then one hand like on my armrest. Just rotate through your shoulders. Don't move your hips, don't move your legs. Just rotate your upper body. And then I like to push on my knee so that I'm rotating. Okay? Come back, do the other side. Be gentle with that one, but it's a really, really good stretch to just do. Okay? And then there's the tricep stretch, which is like that tricep, muscle move we did. Just, you bend your arms, bend one arm, so that you're like you're slapping between your shoulder blades, and you pull the elbow back. Okay? Release. Same thing on the other side. So you're pulling with this hand that's on your elbow, you're pulling it back. Pulling it behind you. And you'll feel that in your shoulders and a little bit your traps. I mean, not your traps, your triceps. Okay? There's a side bend where you sit up straight properly. Extend one arm. Feel that stretch right here. You're basically trying to make a bow from your hip to your hand. Okay? Hold it for a couple seconds. Let go. Go to the other side. Try and like reach out with this hand, like towards the ceiling, or towards the corner of your room a little bit. Then come back. That one feels really nice after working for a long time. Oh, that's great. One that I like to do is this like eagle stretch thing. You put your hands behind you on your seat and you just like push up, like push your chest up to the ceiling and you start to feel it like along your whole back. My back gets really tense, so. Okay. That was it for the stretching portion and muscle portion. Does anyone have any questions? Once again, I am not a doctor. So if you have any bad pains with any of those things or chronic pains, please go see a doctor and not me. Otherwise, move on to eye strain. Preventing eye strain. How's everyone feeling? Is everyone doing their stretches? We feeling good to continue? You make the exercise descriptions available in Discord or something. I can certainly try. Certainly. I have a doc in the Google or in our Discord that lists all of the draw classes we've ever done. This will go in there when it goes public to everyone in a month. But this video will be available for all y'all to watch before it goes to everyone. You can use the same link, basically. So you can review this class if you want. Okay, let's get back to eye strain. So, eye strain. This was kind of a nebulous topic, or like a weird topic. Because some people experience it, some people don't. Some things I learned about eye strain. Some people need those like blue light filter things. I don't know if those work. I think they work for some people. I think they don't work for other people. I've never used them. I don't get eye strain that badly. But something that I learned from a friend of mine who used to work like in her office from like 8 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night. She was crazy. And crazy motivated, I guess. I don't know. She used to wear contacts the whole time. And she went to a doctor because she had like chronic eye pain and eye strain. And the doctor was like, oh, it's because you're wearing your contacts too much. Because your eyes need oxygen to breathe. So wearing contacts on them all the time deprives them of getting the oxygen as effectively. So if you wear contacts, try to switch to glasses when and where you can. If you are someone who does not or cannot wear your glasses like all day, try to have your contacts be like the last thing you put in before you go to work or before you go to school. And then when you come home, try to switch out of them so that you're not going from like taking out your contacts to bed. Because then you're going from my eyes are covered to my eyes are covered by my eyelids. So you want your eyes to be able to breathe. So try, if you're a glasses or contacts wearer, try to have your eyes as, open to the air as much. And I'm not saying like spray air in your eyes, but But if you struggle with eye strain all the time, you might be looking at more screens than you realize. Because, like, if you're going from, like, your computer screen to your Switch to your phone, or you're switching from, like, screen to phone, your computer to phone, yada yada, try to take some breaks, look at something else, like, that's not, like, a digital screen. I realize that's hard because most of our stuff is on a screen now. But, you know, try and, like, have a one-on-one conversation with someone at lunch or something instead of looking at a screen if possible. There's that sneeze. Just do something that takes you away from the screen. There's also, like, I think you could do, like, eye drops. I think eye drops help. But I don't know. I think just, like, giving your eyes a break. Also, you don't want to go from, like, looking at something far and close, like, too rapidly for too long because it hurts. There's also, like, filters you can put on your phone and things like that are blue light now. I would recommend that. Yeah, the information for this part's, like, a little more, like, I don't know. I have less concrete stuff to tell you other than, like, it sucks, but you just got to take more breaks from looking at a screen. And, like, shut your eyes and, like, make sure you're blinking enough. And getting enough, you know, hydration in there as well. So, oh yeah, someone in chat says, important for glasses wearers, you need to keep them clean because while you are not, like, actively thinking about it, your eyes are having to adjust, you know, to the schmutz. It's trying to see through the schmutz. So, wearing glasses is a bit frustrating to me because if I look at anything not through the lens, you done? You okay? You alright? Okay. Alright. We don't have heat in our apartment, so cats are going off. Anyway, yes. If you are someone who, sorry, what was the question again? I counted 14? Yeah, that sounds about right. Sorry about that, everyone. To the person who's saying that wearing glasses is a bit frustrating, that might be a prescription thing. My mom realized, and I'm not telling you what to do or, you know, what's actually happening. I'm just telling you, like, an experience that I've had. You might have, like, a prescription problem, or, like, the kinds of lens that's being made is a problem. Like these, I have a hard time going from contacts to my glasses because the contacts don't have as much bow as my glasses do, because I have kind of, like, thick glass in mine, and I got that, like, special one that, like, makes it smaller, but then because of that, like, the fisheye is, like, kind of a lot, so whenever I switch, I'm like, oh my god. And then my mom had a problem where her glasses were wrong. Like, one was stronger than the other, and it wasn't supposed to be, and it was, like, giving her really bad migraines and things like that, so it's like, they are heart-shaped. That might be a factor. You might have to give up the heart-shaped glasses. I'm sorry. I mean, just try it if you can, if that's an option for you. I know that glasses are expensive, so, you know, that might not be an option. But, you know, you can always have one that's, like, Like, I wear these glasses basically all the time. And then I have, like, prettier glasses, my going out glasses. I really like these, but, you know, I have, like, more delicate ones that I wear out sometimes, depending on my outfit. So you can switch. When I come home, I put these on. Because these, like, are a little sturdier than my other ones. So, you can always do that. The heart lenses are really cute, but I'd rather be able to see them be cute. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Like I said, you could keep the heart ones. Just, like, wear them when you go out. If, you know, if they make you feel good. Also, I'm not here to tell you what to do. But then you can have, like, the practical glasses. You know? It's like your outfits. You're not wearing sweats to the club. I don't go to clubs. So you could. Who knows? Let's get to the next topic. Hey, drinking water. We did it. We got to the water topic. We got to the water. I've gotten a lot of comments from people who said that they have a hard time remembering to drink water. A lot of those comments were me. It is easier. Oh, and also it's been highlighted how poorly I remember to drink water from being pregnant, because you are dehydrated all the time. And then it causes, I got a kidney stone. And the other night I got a Charlie horse in my leg. And the Charlie horse was horrific. It lasted so long. And that's usually from not drinking water. Because let me tell you, I wasn't doing anything else that was causing muscle fatigue. As always, starting a habit is the hardest part. Well, unless it's like an addictive substance like smoking, then you just gotta start. But the more you do it, the easier it gets, and then eventually you're not thinking about it at all. I had a comment from someone who was like, I hate the taste of water. That's fair. It doesn't really taste like anything to me, especially anymore. But some people need flavor and all this stuff. Olive. You can try different temperatures of water. Sometimes that'll change it for people. Like, they like the taste of cold water, but they don't like the taste of room temperature water. Vice versa. Jacob cannot drink room temperature water. It'll make him hurl.
What the hell? That's not true.
He just prefers the taste of very cold water. Is that true?
It's the feel.
It's the feel.
Very cold water makes me feel quenched.
There we go.
Room temperature water makes me feel like I'm not getting any hydration whatsoever.
Okay. There you go. You could put stuff in your water to make it taste nicer. If you, if that's a problem for you, you could put like lemon slices in it. Put lime. You could squeeze it into your water. You could put diced up cucumbers. You could add watermelon. You can add strawberries. Whatever makes you drink more water. And hey, if what you're adding to your water is like watermelon and strawberries, hey, that's just, you're just adding fruit to your diet. Good job. My tips for if you are struggling to remember to drink water is to buy a cool, reusable bottle that you'll actually use. And there's a lot of options out there. In general, I try to stay away from plastic because I'm trying to eliminate plastic from my life. And also I hate the taste of plastic. But some people hate the taste of metal. So our first hurdle that we got to go through, the most important hurdle for yourself, is to drink water. So like we got to balance out the priorities here. If you're like, well, I don't want to have more plastic stuff, but I hate the taste of metal, but also I'm dehydrated all the time. Listen, dog, you got to take care of yourself. Just get the plastic water bottle. That's reusable, right? So, there's so many different options out there if you've not looked into it. My bottle, I use it all the time, so it's all of the stuff is getting it's fallen off, but I use it all the time, right? It's from a company called Liberty. They're the only bottle makers in America that only use metal, and I liked that, so I bought it. This is the lid that I chose because I like to put like a carabiner on stuff and then have it dangle off my bag so that I can grab it so I can remember. It's basically, my goal was to make it as easy to bring this thing with me everywhere as possible. So for me, what that looked like was an easy shape to just like slip into a bag so it doesn't get caught up, doesn't take up a lot of room. I also wanted a big one so that I didn't have to think about refilling it all the time, because sometimes what'll happen is that I'll finish a bottle of water and I'll just go, I'm not going to refill it. Again, option for attaching it from the outside if my bag is full. That was my priority. So this is the lid that I chose. Did not come standard with this bottle. This is not, again, an endorsement of Liberty bottle. You get whatever is best for you. I just use this, okay? Hydro Flask has a bunch of different ones. People really like Yeti. Awala makes a bottle that's really good for one-hand use. So if you have some mobility problems with one side, you can just do that. It's very easy to use. Just throwing that out there. This is my favorite slide of the whole presentation. Please enjoy. So I just, again, non-endorsement of a particular company, but just mentioning it. These are some of the different lids that Hydro Flask offers. The lids that they offer, you want to get the one that will work best for you, that will encourage you to drink water. Because if you got a finicky cap, you're not going to want to deal with it, right? You want to like eliminate as many hurdles as possible. So you got the sip lid, you got the straw lid, you got the closable press-in lid, you got the press-in straw lid. It kind of looks like a foil from fencing. Wide mouth stainless steel cap, that's basically what I have. Mine is plastic though. I just like it because, yeah, whatever. And then first name, last name, title. So set yourself up for success by getting a bottle that you want to carry around with a lid that you like using. And then usually what I do is that I just like carry it with me everywhere, and then when I go to sit at my desk, I bring it with me and I put it where I'm going to see it out of the corner of my eye without it being intrusive. Because whenever I lean back, I will just like instinctively reach for something to drink. So if you don't want to get a bottle and you work from home a lot or something, do it with a glass. It's fine. Just keep refilling that glass. I like water bottles because then I could just like keep bringing it with me everywhere. Also, don't forget to wash your bottles. Some people don't wash them, and your water will create a lot of mold after a while, especially if you let it just sit around. These are the little tricks that you use to convince yourself to start, and then eventually your body's going to go, I really want water. And then you're going to want to actually go get the water. And it's great. It's very cool. You'll find yourself wanting, like, seeking out water before you know it. Decorate it with stickers you love. I'm going to do that with this one probably soon. I have a bunch of stickers that I've been holding on to. I just haven't done it. I got this one from New York City Public Library recently in the mail. I'm going to slap this one onto my water bottle. But it says libraries are essential. I'm going to slap it on. make it a little bit of my personality on there. I have my little flag sticker from where my family's from in France. The flag from the region we're from. You gotta stick it on there. You know, whatever you want. You can put whatever stickers you find fun. But just make it so that you want to bring this thing around, okay? If you have it with you, you will wind up using it. Because there's so many times in your day where you go like, I could drink something. Then you either ignore it or you go out and you buy something, which, yeah. If you just had this, you could just have yourself a little swig of water. If that's still not enough, you know, everything I've said so far, you could set a timer. I've seen this work for a lot of people. I've not done it, but I'm not a timer person. It gives me anxiety. I'm gonna move myself over again. Here we go. Set a timer on your phone for whatever length of time works for you. Could be once every hour, once every half hour. And at that time, that's your drink some damn water timer. Eventually, you'll get that rhythm so down, it'll just be part of your day that you won't need to set that timer anymore. So don't think that it's like something you'll have to have on your phone forever, okay? If none of these work for you, if you are truly a water hater and you just can't make it happen, you can start by eating foods that are high in water, like cantaloupes, melons, cucumbers, lettuce, celery, things like that. I freaking love cantaloupe. I love them. I love grapes. Grapes have a lot of water. I love melon. I love cucumbers. They're wonderful. Jacob makes delicious pickled cucumbers, right? Pickled cucumbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was making sure.
What else would they be?
I don't know, man. I got the Verbia drum. They're really good. They're really, really good. They're like a really good little summer treat. It's like a quick pickled cucumber. They're great. You can start there. And, you know, having enough of that, your body's going to go like, I want some water. And then you can start the other steps, right? So, time for the more nebulous portion. I ran out of slides, by the way, in the other style. So, welcome to this one, which is like gardening. Reminds me of gardening. So, creating healthy work patterns. Again, this is a really like kind of nebulous topic. So, you know, what I'm going to say might make sense, it might not make sense. It might work for you, it might not work for you. But for everything we've spoken about and for everything we're going to talk about, we have to learn the difference between being honest with ourselves and being judgmental of ourselves. We don't want to be judgmental, we want to be honest. We want to say, like, we don't want to say, I can't do this thing, I suck. It's like, this thing is hard for me. How do I learn how to do it? How do I start learning how to do it? How do I improve? Being judgmental of ourselves and stopping ourselves from something is not good for ourselves in any way. You're going to do it. I do it constantly, but it's not very effective for anything. It doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do anyone any good, right? You just get in your head. You want to just say objectively, as objective as I'm wearing a hoodie today because I'm a little chilly. You know, you can say, I'm a little cold today. How do I solve this? I'm going to wear a sweater. I struggle with time management. How do I improve? How do I start getting better? How do I make it work for myself? Not, I suck at time management. It's awful. I don't understand why everyone else is so good and I'm so ass at it. That's not, you're just putting yourself down and not doing anything actionable with it. So we want to look at everything in our lives as, here are my strengths, here are my weaknesses. How do I work with them to accomplish a goal? Because they're just facts, right? They don't have to be facts forever. We all work in different ways. Something that I am not very good at is something that maybe Jacob thrives at, or something maybe that Jacob's not great at, I can thrive at, and they're just like, we just operate differently. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but it's just facts. Every person operates in the way that they operate, and you just have to work with it, okay? And you can improve in those areas, sure, but everyone has a different starting off point, and that's fine. So be honest with yourself with what you can accomplish right now. That does not mean what you can usually accomplish or what you'd like to accomplish someday. Like, I want to be better designing merch, let's say, right? I'm not going to say like, I'm awful at designing merch, I suck, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say like, it's just not happening for me today. You know, if it's like a skill that I usually feel pretty comfortable in, I'm going to say, it's not the day for it. If it's not working, I'm just going to say like, I just can't do it today. And that's okay. Everyone has days like that for literally everything they do in their lives. Or I can say like, I'm not great at merch and I would like to be better. And that's fine. We just need to be honest about it and say, I'm continuing the example. I want to be better at merch. So, how can I be better at it? You know, where can I start? And that's fine. I don't have to say I'm awful at merch. When you're working on these things, take into consideration your other priorities and remember that those need tending to as well. So that will take up some of your schedule. Okay, this is another like artist self-care sort of just like healthy work habits, right? So to set yourself up, you're gonna say like, I have an assignment due on Friday, not today, I mean in a week. Let's look at my schedule. You know, I have a doctor's appointment, I have school, I have to go see family. These are the times that I have to work with. Like, oh, I also like should go see friends at some point. So these are the times that I have to work with. These are the priorities. And you just have to like figure out what you need to move around that is move aroundable to make that work for you. And again, we're looking at it objectively, not judgmentally. Wow, I put a lot of words on this slide, huh? Unrelated to what I was just talking about, it's just like another thought about healthy work habits. If you're dealing with some sort of like mental health issues where like, let's say you aim too high to get things done and then historically you haven't been able to accomplish that goal, and it got you like so down that it made your mood worse, let's try to adjust some things. Either let's adjust your let's try to adjust your reaction to not getting the thing done, or let's adjust what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, let's say usually you beat yourself up for not accomplishing a thing. because you aim too high and then mental health stuff got in the way, and then you're like, usually you're like, oh, damn it, like if I were only this or that or the other thing, I could have gotten this done, or like, man, you know, I'm such an idiot for thinking for this, that, whatever. That's not helpful. What you can say is like, I know I aimed high, and I'm proud of what I got done. Because I already know that I was aiming for more than what was reasonable for myself at this moment. I'm not saying reasonable for yourself tomorrow, reasonable for yourself yesterday. I'm saying what was reasonable for you today. So, just, again, be honest with yourself. Every day is a new mood, set of circumstances, stuff like that. You know, or like I said, try to adjust how much you're trying to accomplish at that time so that you don't get in your head about it. Because if you get in your head about it, like what I was saying about muscle injuries earlier, you are just hurting yourself further, which is not helpful. You're hurting your brain, you're hurting your mental health. And that doesn't help you in any way. It just makes things worse. So let's try to prevent, and then we treat, okay? If you're dealing with body pain, let's assess it. You're saying, is it worth pushing to get this thing done today? How much damage will it do to myself? Usually the answer is, it's not worth pushing through the pain to get this thing done. Sometimes you have to, so it is what it is. And that's it. Like I said, it is what it is. If you really need to push through something, you can do it in a way that maybe prevents further damage. So you can set a timer for every like 20, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, to get up, do a walk around, do your stretches, drink some water. Any breaks you can take will help you in the long term, okay? Don't push yourself so hard that you hurt yourself. It's usually never worth it. But again, this is something you should assess day to day. If you want to push yourself to do more in whatever aspect it is, time management, how much art you can get done at a time, whatever, you have to identify your problem areas. We're looking at ourselves honestly, not judgmentally. You have to say, I wish I could spend more time focusing on a task, but I keep getting distracted. How can I make that happen? Or I wind up feeling really overwhelmed while working on something. How can I feel less paralyzed by it? Those are two examples that I came up with, right? So let's look at the first example objectively again, right? The I wish I could spend more time focusing on a task, but I keep getting distracted. So you have issues focusing. It's a fact on how you operate at that moment, not a judgment. I have days where I can't focus. And it is what it is, right? So we have to break down the problem. If that's something that you want to improve, if it's like a chronic problem and you're like, I always have a problem focusing, you have to look at it. What is causing us to lose focus? Is it indecisiveness? Is it being overwhelmed? Is it noise? Is it ADD? Is it whatever it is, being hungry? Is it my working environment? Is it something that's on my mind that I need to get off my mind? For me, if I have troubles focusing, it's because I have another task that's like really pressing, or it's really on my mind. So I need to resolve that. I just need to get it done and out of the way so that it's out of my brain. Because your brain will just hold things and then it'll just float around in there, taking up space. And if you get that done, you free up brain space, right? So I get rid of it. Another thing that distracts me is noise. There's a lot of noises that distract me and keep me like completely focused on them, like chewing noises, repetitive clicking noises, my cat screaming at me, random noises in the hallway that I wasn't expecting. Those things will distract me. You can get headphones that block out sound. I understand that that's difficult for some people budget-wise, but there's a lot of options out there. You don't have to get like the top-of-the-line noise canceling, like has a dedicated noise canceling button. You can get ones that are just like kind of thick. Someone said they had to leave early, and it's been incredibly helpful. Thank you very much for coming to the class. I appreciate it, and for being a patron at the DrawClass tier. Really appreciate it, and I'm glad that this class was helpful for you. I just need something to block out the sound. And sometimes when I'm having a really hard time, I'll just like crank up some music that is very repetitive or something, so I'm not thinking about the music, but it's repetitive enough that my brain isn't like focusing on the sound on the song, but is blocking out like the background noises, right? But also because of how, you know, day to day your brain is, sometimes a repetitive song will drive me up a wall. So I'll have to put on like a podcast because that's interesting enough, but there's nothing to look at, so I can hear it. But sometimes I want to focus so much on the entertaining podcast that it's distracting me from thinking about my piece. So I'll put on a movie I've seen a million times before. And so I'm like, I can go in and out. I can say like, oh, I like this scene, or like, oh, I know this line. And then I go back to my work and I don't feel like I'm missing anything because I've seen that movie a million times, right? Like for me, it's like The Mummy or Keira Knightley, Pride and Prejudice. You know, like it's just noise. It's just noise, so that I'm not thinking about it, but it's also blocking out noise that I hate. Sometimes it's like a schlocky medical show that's more drama than it is medical, and I'm like, what the hell is happening on this show? Like it just doesn't matter. Like I don't care enough to follow the plot line, but it's entertaining enough that I can like go back in and be like, oh, okay, interesting. Okay. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if that's your problem, why are you feeling overwhelmed? Is it because it's too big of a task? How do we correct that for ourselves? Maybe because it seems like, again, too big of a task, so you should break it down into milestones. Say, like, what is the process in which we want to get this problem done? So your first step when starting a piece, collecting reference images. Then you take a break. Great. On to the next step. Drawing the thumbnails for it. Once you get that done, great. You found a thumbnail that you really like. Expand it into a sketch. Like, have each one of those things be the goal, not the one singular goal of finishing the whole damn thing. Because that can be overwhelming, and you kind of, sometimes I feel like I'm rushing to get to that point, and I'm not seeing like the milestones that led me there. Ooh, someone in chat said they found the Balatro soundtrack helps them focus. It's repetitive, but not too repetitive. Yeah, exactly. It's great. It's, you know, I'll put on an album. The only other thing that I'll say too is that for me, the thing that is most effective is something that I can leave on for like a while. So I tend to do like shows that have a lot of episodes, so I can just let it go, so I'm not like thinking about like, oh god, I gotta choose like another thing to watch, or I'll watch like a long form video essay on something that I don't really care all that much about. I'll like 2 years ago, I watched a 7-hour long iCarly video. I've never seen a single episode of iCarly. I don't know what it is, or I didn't know what it was before that 7-hour documentary. And then I watched it and I was like, fascinating. Still have never seen iCarly. Audiobooks, perfect. Audiobooks would take too much attention from me because I would be paying attention to the book. But if that works for you, hell yeah. Some general artist tips for everyone. Staying organized. These are also things that can help you not feel so overwhelmed. Stay organized, meaning like, how much time do you have to do a thing? What does your schedule look like? We touched on that earlier, but it's like, it's due on Friday. I have all these tasks I have to do. Plan ahead with some buffer for emergencies. So if you're like, I have 3 days to work on this thing and it only takes me 1 day, so I'll leave it to the last day. I always find that on that last day, something like urgent has come up and now I have to deal with it. And it's like, well, now I feel rushed because I left this thing to the last minute. So if you can convince yourself to do it early and to plan with some buffer, because then also you get the sweet, sweet reward of, I finished it and now I am free to just relax until the next big thing I have to go do is, whatever that is. And I find that also I can relax better when I have no tasks on my plate that need taken care of. If there's something lingering, I'm like thinking about it the whole time. Gather everything you need for your current step ahead of time. If you're like, I'm on the reference stage, obviously you can't plan ahead for that, but know like what you're looking for. If you're like, I need reference on this sort of mythology, what kind of mythology are we looking for? Or like, what's the vibe of the piece we're looking for? How can I pull those up? What is the aesthetic of the thing I'm looking for? What are some artists that can inspire me? Yada, yada. Like, break it down. Do that pre-planning. And then when it's time to go get that reference, you know what you're looking for. Or, your piece requires such and such materials. Prepare those materials all ahead of time so you're not like having to run around. Set any timers you need. We touched on this, but like removing distractions. So like if I have a task on my mind, I need to remove that. I need to just do it. And get rid of it. Be nice to yourself. If you can't do the thing that day, you can't do the thing. Like I said, remember, we're being honest, not judgmental. And that's not to say I'm not having like toxic positivity or whatever that is, whatever that was called. I'm not saying like, well, I just have this really unhealthy habit and that's just how I am and that's just how I do. No. You were going to look at it and you were going to say, like, this thing that I'm doing, that I have been doing, is a thing that I do that is not good for me. And it's not good for how I work. It's just a fact. You're not going to beat yourself up about it. You're just going to look at it as a fact and say, how do I address it? How do I improve? I don't want any of those people that's like, if you can't handle me at my worst, you deserve me at my best. You don't deserve me at my best. No, you shouldn't be presenting your worst to people. Don't be like, I'm just a jerk, that's just how I am. Nah, you look at yourself and you go, I'm a jerk. How do I not be a jerk anymore? What is it about my behaviors that people say you're a jerk about that I can fix? And it's just looking at it objectively, not judgmentally. Okay? Because we don't want to be running away from these problems, we want to be addressing these problems. I'm going to start moving quickly because we're over time. Healthy boundary work. Isn't going to be working all the time. It's not good for your brain, it's not good for your muscles, it's not good for your social life, it's not good for your life in general. You want to be a whole human outside of your work. Because also it makes your work more interesting. That's how I convince myself. You need to take time off. It's really important. You need to do something that relaxes you. It's very important. You need to talk to friends, or else you're not going to have any friends by the end of this. And it's important to have friends. If you're working for a company, make sure they're not taking advantage of you. Stick to your job description and your hours. If there's more that you're willing to do, that you actually want to do, sure, go for it. Make sure they're not taking advantage of you. If they're pushing you to do more and more and more and more, and you find yourself like stressed every single day, if you find that in the mornings you're like, oh my God, I don't want to go to work because it's going to be too much. It's going to be a lot. And I can't handle it. And my mental health is taking a nosedive. You got to reassess. You got to reassess your job. You got to figure out who you can talk to. You got to figure out how to make it so that you're not going wild. Your mental health is not worth your job. Most of the time. I understand that a lot of people have some, financial problems that makes that a difficult choice, but whatever it is to take care of yourself, make sure that you are doing that thing to take care of yourself. And again, I'm not saying you should be paid for doing nothing or whatever. Wouldn't that be great? But if you sign up for a job, you do your end of the bargain. You got to make sure they're doing their end of the bargain, which is not going outside of that job description. They had their time to outline what your job is, and you agreed to that. If they wanted more, or if they wanted something else, they should have had that in their job description, and they should be compensating you for that, okay? Any company that you work for, you are replaceable to, unless it's like a company you've started. Then that's difficult. This ain't Olive Garden. You ain't family. No matter how much they try to convince you, they're like, oh, we're just a little... No. You can be kind to people. You can be kind to your coworkers. You should be kind to your coworkers. You should be kind to everyone. You should be someone who's pleasant to work with. But, if you're working in a mom and pop shop, you might be like, well, it is more like a little family. Sure. But again, if you're at the point where you're freaking out every day, you are no longer family. You are now the sacrificial lamb. This ain't Olive Garden, you ain't family. If you have a cool CEO, they're still a CEO, and they still are interested in money first for the company. That is literally their job, is to make the money. Okay? So, they can say whatever they want to say, but if their actions aren't following what they're saying, if they're like, well, we care about you, we care about what you have to say, and then you're saying, I'm overloaded, what would help me as an assistant or more money to make me feel better about doing this amount of work, and they're like, then they don't actually care, okay? They're CEOs, is what happens, okay? And it's just business. And I know that's really hard to keep in mind. It is business, though, to a CEO. So you have to take care of yourself. Your job is to do the job description and take care of yourself. The CEO's job is to make money any way they can. Just remember this, okay? And it's really, really, really hard to do, especially if you are conflict averse. So, but the sooner you learn it, the better. This is basically just reiterating what I said. Every job is going to have something that's unpleasant that's going to cause you stress. The whole job shouldn't be doing this. A majority of the job shouldn't be causing you massive stress where you wake up and you're like, I feel sick. Or you go home and you're like, I feel sick. And it shouldn't be every day. You are going to have bad days at work. You are going to have bad days with your best friend. Both are true. But you should have, at the very minimum with your job, like, I'm clocking in and I'm clocking out and I feel neutral. It is just a job. It is just making me money. Should not be making you miserable. Do not let it make you miserable. Okay? And again, I know that's hard, especially if you're like, well, jobs in my field are limited and I feel so fortunate to have a job and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's really hard. But like, you have to assess that for yourself. And then if you're like, well, I have to keep this job, I don't want to lose it, but it is making me miserable, you have to figure out how to not do it that way. You know, find coworkers who are friends that'll help you. Talk to your boss. See what you can change. Maybe you can change something you do in your job. See what change what you're in charge of. Change your mindset on it. You know, say like, I went into this with the expectation of this, but actually what I'm getting out of it is this thing, but I can't afford to lose this job. If you truly are stuck, change your mindset. You just have to say, it is what it is. It is a paycheck. Okay? And I'm not going to do more than what is required. You know, it's hard. It's hard out there, but you have to take care of yourself and take care of you know, don't take care of the CEO, because the CEO ain't taking care of you. Here's a difficult topic. Don't get in your head about the future. Easier said than done as someone who gets in my head about the future constantly. Jacob and I are moving soon, and I was like, well, what if they build a mall next door? I'm an idiot. It's good to be prepared, right? If you live in a tornado zone, it's good to have your tornado shelter, whatever that is, like your basement. It's good to have your cans down there. It's not good to live in there. Okay? It's good to say, one day a tornado might come by. I'm going to prep for that. If you live in a tornado zone. It's not good to say, I am ready for a tornado that lands on my face in a split second. You can't live like you're about to be hit by a tornado. Okay? That's not fun. If you try to prevent every little bad thing in your life, you will wind up doing nothing. That is a miserable life. So, you have to focus on what you can focus on. Okay? That is what's in your control. And there's a lot of things that you wish were in your control, but are not in your control. You can't control tornadoes. So, you can just do your best. You're going to look at your life and say, like, you know, what am I most at risk for? And how can I best prevent that? You're going to say, like, you know, my job is fickle and I could lose my job. So I'm going to try and save money so that I have enough padding to find another job afterwards, if that's possible. You know, you're going to work towards it. You're not going to say, I might lose my job, so I'm not going to spend money on anything ever and eat crackers and rice and only drink water. Because that's a miserable life. Because the bad thing might not happen. Could happen. Doesn't mean it will happen. Okay? And we have to distinguish between those two things. Could doesn't mean absolutely will. Wild, this again, very nebulous topic, and I'm sorry I'm bringing it up, but it's a common concern that I get a lot. With like things going on social media or like AI, you know, you're going to get the worst takes, the most doomsday, like I'm going to lose my job yesterday because of AI and whatever. Humanity has always made art. And I'm not saying to be dismissive of AI. But humanity has always made art and will always make art. You can go to a museum and you can find little toys that people have handmade from like 3,000, 4,000 BC. Art has always been important to people. Art will always be made by people and will continue to be made by people. Will there be bumps in the road? Yes. The camera came out, they invented the camera, and artists were wigging out, saying like, art is over because now we have the camera. But then art shifted, and we're still here. We can take photos and we can do our art. Digital art happened, and painters were like, oh my god, art is over. I've lost my job. It just shifted. It shifted what it looked like. Again, I'm not saying that AI is great. I freaking hate it. I hate AI. Well, I hate art AI. I think like AI should be implemented in like hospitals and things. Because that could literally save a life. With improvements. Not right now. It's, you know, it's a complicated, nuanced thing. I just want people to know that I don't love AI or like it or use it. Unless like Google forces me to use it because I've typed my search query into the wrong freaking thing. Or I've pressed the little Gemini button on my Gmail by accident, because that used to be where another button was. Social media will give you the worst takes about AI. Know that there are a lot of people pushing back against AI. Okay? So, people will continue to push back against AI. And the job market might shift, it might look different, stuff like that. But it is not helpful to anyone to get in your head about it. Okay? Because we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know where it's going to wind up. So, just say, this is what I can do right now. I'm going to keep going forward. Don't worry about where this thing's going to be in 10 years, 15 years, because we don't know. We truly don't know. And all you're doing is getting your today self down. That's not helpful for your today self or your tomorrow self. You gotta take care of your today self and also your tomorrow self. So it is good to be informed. It is not good to let it paralyze you or keep you from enjoying life. That is my self-care tip for that. I'm going to move on because it's a sensitive topic. I just wanted to touch on it because a lot of people have concerns about it. That's basically reiterating what I just said. That's it. That's the end of my presentation. I hope this was helpful. I know I wound up on like a weird note, so I apologize. But that's everything. Oh, someone asked a very good question. And I don't know if I'm the correct person to answer this, but I'm going to try my best. Someone in chat said, how does one differentiate between getting in your head and being informed and educated? For me, being informed and educated is saying, I know what's going on. I am aware of X thing happening that could affect me. I'm not saying, oh my God, this thing is happening, and then I'm not searching out a million takes about the thing. Seeing like, oh my God, what do other people say? Oh my God, they all have the same concerns, and oh my God, this person says it's going to lead to this, and then 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 the apocalypse. You know, and then you wind up like laying on the floor. Getting in your head about a thing, to me, means paralyzing me from doing anything about the thing. So like politics. I'll be vague about this because it's, again, a hard subject. Crazy things happen. Crazy things have been happening. And for a while there, I would be laying in bed, reading everyone's take about the thing. Being like, this means this, and then this will lead to this other thing, and blah, 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 blah. And then I put my phone down, and suddenly it's like 4 a.m. And it's because in my head, I'm like, okay, so this little story that I read has now led me to doomsday prep about a thing. It's led me to seek a bunker. It's led me to wanting to move somewhere remote and start my own commune with my friends, or like to buy a boat and then put myself in the middle of the Atlantic. It's like, it is, to me, getting in my head about a thing is the thing. It's like, I'm informed, so I'm going, here's like what I can do about the thing. Like politics, I don't like our president, let's say, putting it mildly. So what can I do about it? I don't like him, I don't like what he's doing, I don't like freaking anything that's going on. So I say, okay, who's doing the stuff that I like? Who do I feel like could actually change things? Let's see what they're doing. What can I do to support them? I can give them money. I can spread awareness about a thing. So like a thing, here's a side tangent. Here's like an example. A thing that I get in my head about recently is that someone close to me has gone anti-vax. And it's driving me up a freaking wall. Okay? Because I'm so staunchly pro-science and medicine and vaccines. I'm not saying I don't need to eat fruit because I'm vaccinated. I'm saying you can do both. I can take care of myself and I can take medicine. I can try having a Ricola and I can go get some cough medicine. I can use Vicks Vapor Rub, even though it doesn't do diddly, apparently, according to some study I read yesterday. But damn, it feel good. But also, I can go to the damn doctor. I, the other day, got so in my head about my close, someone close to me being anti-vax, that I was like awake in bed being like, they're going to get the freaking flu, and then it's going to morph into pneumonia, and then they're going to die, and then I'm going to have to take care of their children, and then I'm going to have to set up a college fund for their children. Can I afford that? What should I be doing in my life that can afford the college tuition of not my own child? And then still take care of myself. So I'm paralyzed. And then I didn't sleep well. Then I woke up the next day. I felt like ass. I was tired. I was crotchety. It made it hard to do anything. That is getting in my head about a thing. Instead of saying, like, my friend's freaking anti-vax. What can I do? Can I try to convince her? Do I think she would listen to me? I don't know. I can certainly try. So I looked up ways to, that is recommended by scientists to talk to people who are anti-vax. To try and, like, swing them back. No, you cannot cure measles by injecting yourself with mercury. Don't do that. You're going to die. Essential oils will not prevent you from smallpox. Don't buy a certain someone's supplements to, I don't know, whatever the hell they do. And then I just have to accept it, that that's where she's at, and that's where we are. One day she might snap out of it, someday she might. It might work out for her, it might not. And I will handle whichever one happens. I just have to be ready for it. It's just a fact. I have to move on. So getting in my head is like doomsday prepping for the thing, to me. So you have to like stop yourself and say, this isn't helpful. And sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes you just keep on trucking on that doomsday thought. But try to read a book instead. Try to play a game. Try to go talk to a friend. Try and like force yourself to do something that focuses your brain on a different thing. Me, I have manga on my phone that I read. I have Balatro. I read a chapter of a manga. I do a round of Balatro. It's just something to engage my brain enough that I derail from the doomsday and I go back to like doing something else. And sometimes that'll work and sometimes it doesn't. But I hope that's helpful. That was a hard one to answer. But that's just like my experience. I guess that's it. I was going to have like a ask me questions section, but it's 5:30, so I would like to go. I'm very tired. I want to drink this entire bottle of water. I'm very dry. But again, I hope that was helpful. I hope this was more encouraging than anything. It is it's all too easy to get stuck in the bad brain thing because our brains are geared survival wise primitively to focus on the dangers. So it's really easy to get stuck in there. And I get it. You just have to find your ways to not, or to change your mindset so that it doesn't seem so impending doom, tornado on my face. But that's it. Thanks for being here, as always. You know, any new DrawClass people, I really appreciate you signing up. Any returning DrawClass people, we really appreciate your continued support. We hope you find these sorts of classes helpful. That's it. And if you're watching the VOD, consider joining a DrawClass. But also, thanks for watching. That's it. I'm out of here. Goodbye. Have a good weekend.